I am Dr. Hanuman Prasad. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry at IARE. And the topic that I am discussing today is first lesson in caste as a part of gender sensitization. Let's look at the contents that I am going to discuss today. Introduction of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. We are discussing about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar because the first lesson in caste belongs to the history of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So the contents include introduction of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, childhood of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, schooling of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and summer vacation of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and finally change of his mind at an age of 10. Let's look at all these 5 contents in detail. The first content is introduction of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. As you know that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was far the most learned Indian politician. He had an insatiable hunger for learning, means he always preferred to learn. So whatever he learned, he is not satisfied with that. So that is called insatiable hunger. He is never satisfied with what he learned. He will always feel that there is something to learn. Still there is something to learn. So that kind of attitude, that kind of insufficient nature is called insatiable hunger. And he was the first Indian to get doctorate, means PhD in economics from the London School of Economics. So he is the first Indian to get PhD in economics from the London School of Economics. And he was also the first Indian to get PhD from Columbia University. So he got his PhD from Columbia University. And he also got the degree of barrister at law from Gray's Inn, which is in London. And when he went trips to abroad, he would always bring back thousands of second-hand books with him. And the reason for bringing number of second-hand books with him is to maintain a personal library. So as we discussed, he has an insatiable hunger for learning. He never be satisfied with what he learned. So he always feel that there is something to learn, something to learn. Always he will feel so. So whenever he go to foreign for trips, he always brings back thousands of second-hand books and he will maintain a library with that. And his library is at Bombay, Rajgir. And it had more than 50,000 books. So he is maintaining a big library which is having more than 50,000 books. Even many schools, many colleges won't have that many books. But he himself as a person maintaining individually 50,000 books. So you can understand how much insatiable hunger he has for learning. Let's look at childhood of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. This is the next content. How he spent his childhood. So where it is started. At one time, okay. So when he is 10 years old, during his childhood, what he did? He wanted to abandon, means he wanted to leave his studies and run away from home to work as ordinary mill worker. And what is the reason for that? That we will discuss later. When you go through his studies, what happened actually during his study, then it will be clear cut to everyone. And as destiny would have it, this fateful plan did not fructify. Because if we go to mill for working, now we won't have Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, right, for constitution. He made the constitution of India. So you can understand, if he is the person who went to ordinary mill for working, then who will write the constitution of India? So that is the destiny and that is the fate. So, what we can conclude, as destiny would have it, this fateful plan did not fructify. So, this plan didn't work. And father of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is Ramji Sakpal, was a Subedar in Indian Army. In Indian Army, his father is a Subedar. And the last and 14th child of Ramji and Bhimabai. Bhimabai is the wife of Ramji, and the last and 14th child of this couple is born on 14th April 1894 at the city Mo, which is in the district of Indore, which is in the state of Madhya Pradesh. So, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was born on 14th April 1891 at city Mo and district Indore and state Madhya Pradesh. And he was named Bhimrao Ambavadekar. Bhimrao Ambavadekar, not Bhimrao Ambedkar. Initially, he was named Bhimrao Ambavadekar. His surname changed to Ambedkar later. So, during his schooling, it is changed, that I will explain today. His family belonged to untouchable caste of Mahars. So, in the olden age, so he born on 1891, right? So, at that time, his caste of Mahars is treated as untouchable. So, he faced a lot of problems during his study. So, that we will discuss now. And in the childhood, we have to discuss more things. The forefathers of Bhim served in the army of East India Company from the very commencement of its operations in India. So, whenever in India, East India Company has started, from that time onwards, the forefathers of Bhim are working in army of the East India Company. So, why we are saying about his forefathers? There is a connection because he belongs to the dynasty of Mahars, right, which is untouchable. So, what is Mahar? So, for that, I am explaining about his forefathers' profession. One interpretation of the word Mahar is Maha-Ari. Maha means great, Ari means enemy. So, Mahar stands for the great enemy, which signifies the combative spirit and fierce temperament of the community. So they have the combative spirit. Whenever something happened, whenever some people came for occupying our place, then they always combat. They don't sit silently. And they have the fierce temperament. Fierce temperament means they always have the one kind of temper. So they won't satisfy with injustice. They always question the injustice until it is justified. So that kind of fierce temperament they have in their community. So that is Mahar. So it is Maha plus Ari, which means the great enemy. Okay. So after retirement from the army, Ramji Sakpal means the father of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar settled at Satara, which is a city in Maharashtra. Soon he shifted to Koregan, where he got a job as cashier while keeping his family in Satara. Now, after retirement, he settled in Satara, means from Madhya Pradesh to Satara he moved. It is near Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra are border states only. And when he shifted to Koregan actually because he got job in Koregan as a cashier. So what he did, he kept his family in Satara itself and he shifted himself to Koregan for his employment as a cashier. And at the age of 6, Bhim lost his mother, Bhimabai. So when he's 6 years old, his mother was expired. And from that time onwards, his aunt started living with the family to take care of young Bhim, his elder brother, and 2 sons of his elder sister, who had also died. So because his family is big, so somebody should be there to take care because his father is also not here. So he went to Koregan for employment of cashier. So once his mother expired, then his aunt started living with them to take care of the whole family. Especially his elder sister is also died, and she had 2 sons. So for this purpose, his aunt is also staying with them. And let's discuss about the next content. Schooling of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Bhim and his elder brother started their schooling at Satara itself, because they shifted to Satara, right, which is in Maharashtra. And at school, they suffered untold humiliations. A lot of insults they suffered due to the stigma attached to their caste. Their caste is considered untouchable. So, because of that, they have suffered a lot of untold humiliations. And they would be made to sit in the corner of the classroom on a gunny bag. What is gunny bag? Which is a heavy bag which is made of jute, and which they had to take back home every day, because the school peon would not touch it, because they are considered untouchable at that time, and even the school peon would not touch that heavy bag, gunny bag. So they have to sit at the corner of the classroom and they have to take it back to their home while leaving. No one will touch it, because their caste is considered untouchable at that time. So how foolish it is, you can understand. And when they are thirsty, what they have to do? They could not just go to tap and quench their thirst. So they don't have the freedom to touch the tap also for drinking water, like other children do, because they were not allowed to touch the tap. As you know that their caste Mahar is treated as untouchable at that time. So when they are thirsty, what they have to do? Their school peon would pour water into their upturned mouth. They have to upturn their mouth. Then their school peon used to pour water into their upturned mouth from atop. From top, he will pour the water into their upturned mouths. You can see how pathetic situation they faced. Making sure that water pot not touching their unholy bodies. See, so they are treating their bodies and their mouth, their all body parts as unholy. So their culture was like that at that time. It was completely immature culture. So that is why everyone should know, as a part of gender sensitization, so about the lesson of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and how he faced problems due to his untouchable caste, Mahar, which means Maha plus Mahar, Maha plus Ari, Mahar, which means that the great enemy. So that kind of problems they faced when they feel thirsty. And let's continue the schooling of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Nobody else in the school would perform even their mundan's act. Mundan's act means removing hair from the head. When the hair is full, so they have to cut their hair, no? So since they were treated as untouchable, so nobody used to do this mundane act. Nobody will remove their hair from their head. So they used to grow hair until too much long. So they have to do themselves. No one will touch their head to remove their hair. So this kind of act is called mundane act. So you can understand how backward at that time the culture was. And later, Ambedkar described the agony of those days. Agony means the grievance, the sadness of those days in his essay 11. No peon, no water. So if there is no peon, then they won't get water, because peon only used to pour water from atop into their upturned mouths. So that is why he wrote the agony of those days in his essay 11. He has written many essays. In 11th essay, he mentioned about his agony during his school days, that no peon, no water. Once, when Bhim was found stealthily drinking water, so one day peon was absent, I guess. He stealthily drinking water because he was thirsty. What to do? So he was stealthily drinking water, means secretly drinking water from a public tap. Then the people saw that, and the people round up and they thrashed him. They thrashed him. So you can understand the pathetic situation of him. So how immature culture it was. And now it was changed everything. So thank God for that. However, not everyone in the school was unkind to Bhim. But even though this much problems are there, but some people are in favor of Bhim. Who is in favor of Bhim? So that you will understand now. He was a pet student of one Brahmin teacher named Mahadev Ambedkar. So even though he is Brahmin at the time, you can see how matured he is. He used to like him. So he is the best student of the Brahmin teacher, whose name is Mahadev Ambedkar. So you can say that at that time, in 1891 times itself, he is broad-minded. And Sir Mahadev would even share his lunch with him. Even normal people won't allow him to touch water tap to drink water. So, but he used to share his lunch with him, and even though he's Brahmin teacher, so how great he was. He liked Bhim so much that in school records he changed the surname of the boy from Ambavadekar to Ambedkar. Means he gave his surname. His surname is Ambedkar, no? And what is his name? Mahadev Ambedkar, the Brahmin teacher name. And because he liked him so much, because of his attitude and his intelligence, he changed the surname of Dr. Bhim as Ambedkar. Bhim Rao Ambavadekar to Bhim Rao Ambedkar. So from that time onwards, he is Bhim Rao Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar. Let's look at the situation he faced in summer vacation time. So the content is summer vacation of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. It is B.R. Early in his school days, Bhim was carefree, fearless, and not serious in studies. So, because of facing these many problems, he was not serious in studies because he is facing a lot of humilities. So, that is why he could not focus on his studies. And his interest was in gardening, tending to cattle, and rearing goats. So, feeding the cattle, rearing goats, gardening, in all these things he was interested because there no one is going to restrict him, right? So, where there is a freedom, people used to work there. And in 1901, Ramji Sakpal invited his two sons. Ramji Sakpal means father of Dr. Bhim. So Ramji Sakpal invited his two sons and a grandson to spend their summer vacation with him at Koregan. His father is working as a cashier in Koregan, right? So he invited them to spend their summer vacation there along with his grandson. So from Satara, they have to go Koregan now for spending their summer vacation on the invitation of his father, Ramji Sakpal. And what they have to do from Satara, they have to travel by train up to Mysore, which is a small city in Maharashtra. It is nearby his place. What is his place? His place is Koregan, where he is working as a cashier. So, from where Koregan was 10 miles away, and still from Mysore it is 10 miles. Koregan is 10 miles away from Mysore. That was a very exciting proposition for the young boys, Bhim and his brother, as they had never traveled by train before. So, this is the first time, that was the first time for them to travel by the train. So, they have to go from Satara to Koregan. So, in between there was a small city, Mysore. From there, their Koregan city is 10 miles away. So, to go to Mysore, they have to travel by train. And that was their exciting proposition, as it is their first time traveling by train. When the train reached Mysore, the boys were perplexed to discover that their father had not come to pick up them. So at that time, their father didn't come to pick up them. So they were surprised. So there was a reason for that, that you will come to know later. So their father didn't come to receive them. So what they have to do now? Because they don't know the things there, what to do, how to go, and and all these things, right? So later it was found that their letter had not reached their father in time. So what they have done, they decided to hire a cart for reaching Koregaon. But when the cart owners realized they were Mahars, so they also realized, no, so before making them to sit in their cart, they used to ask, what is your caste and all. So then at that time they replied that they were Mahars, then they refused to give them a ride. Even cart riders didn't allow them for riding. So that much pathetic situation it was. So at last, with the intervention of station master, one cart owner agreed to lend his cart on the condition that they will have to pay double the fare and also drive the cart themselves. And cart owner will walk behind the cart because they will treat them as untouchable. No, so that is why he won't sit along with them. He will walk behind the cart, and Bhim and his brother has to drive the cart by themselves. So this is on the request of that station master. They came on train now. So that station master requested. They arranged one cart. So on this condition, what is the condition? They have to pay double the fare, and they have to drive themselves. And cart owner will walk behind the cart. How funny it was. So on that condition, they have agreed because they don't have any other option, no. So they agreed. On the way, when they wanted to take food, partake food means when they wanted to have food, which is brought from home for the journey, no one was ready to give them water. You need water, no, first you have to take some water, you have to clean your hands and all. But there was no one to ready to give water for them. So what they did at that time, Bhim knew that he was untouchable and had to follow certain code of conduct, but never before he had to face such inhuman treatment and such humiliations. Already he faced some situations in schooling, right? But he never faced such kind of humiliations that he faced during traveling to his father's place, Koregaon. So he was very pathetic at that situation. Now it made him to think about untouchability. So he never thought about untouchability. Because of this incident, he thought very serious about untouchability. So Ambedkar writes in his biography, waiting for 12 visa. So at the age of 12, they will get one visa. So now at that time he was at the age of 10. So he wrote in his biography that waiting for 12 visa means he is waiting for his 2 years to pass in that difficult situation. So this incident has a very important place in my life. He quoted like that. I was a boy of 9 when it happened, but it has left an indelible impression on my mind. So that is what he has quoted in his biography. So indelible impression means which cannot be removed. So that much strongly has gone to his mind, that incident. Later it was found that their letter had not reached their father in time. So that is why his father could not come to the station for receiving them. And during their vacation, they have done great preparations, including stitching of new clothes. All these things they have made in the vacation. So like that they have spent their summer vacation at the home of their father, that is in Koregaon. And when Bhim was about 10 years old, his father decided to marry again because they were not happy with their aunt. She also has to take care of their own home. No? So that is why he decided to marry again. But Bhim didn't like the idea of his father because he don't like another woman taking his mother's place and wearing her jewelry. He rebelled and secretly hatched a plan to run away from home and work as a mill hand in Bombay, where he knew that many lads means many childs who are at his age from Satara had been working. So he planned to go away from home and to join in a small mill and to work there, which is in Bombay, and see what happened now. So he changed his mind at that age. Why? Let's see the situation. To buy train fare, so he has to go to Bombay to work as a mill worker. So for that he has to travel by train, but he don't have train fare. Train fare. So to buy that train fare, he planned to steal the money from the pouch of his aunt, who would sleep on the floor with him. His father married again, right? So he planned to steal money from her pouch when they were sleeping. For 3 successive nights, he tried to get hold of the pouch. What he did, he tucked to the waist of the aunt, but he could not succeed. So he tried for 3 nights, but he could not get a hold of the pouch of her. And what he did, when he got hold of the pouch on the fourth night, so finally on the fourth night, he got the hold of the pouch. He got the pouch. To his great dismay, he discovered that the pouch had only half an anna in it, far from enough to buy fare. So there was only half anna, which is not enough to buy ticket. So the plan was not succeeded. Then what he did, he was dejected, he was depressed, he was disappointed. So he spent the whole night contemplating his next move. What to do after this? What to do? What to do? Then next day he decided that there is no use in trying to escape from school. So by facing this many situations, you don't have ticket fare also. So in that critical situation, if you go Bombay also, you could not survive there. He realized that. So he decided that there is no use of trying to escape from school. So he thought of being independent by studying hard and getting a good job. So he has taken a good move. He has thought of a good move. So that is what he has changed his mind at the age of 10. And the references are Kadambari, who has written Gender Studies, and Gender Sensitization by Rajalakshmi Kalyani. Finally, thank you for your patience.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.